This is the East Idaho Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.
That's right. Welcome in another edition of the East Idaho Prepcast on IdahoSports.com, breaking down everything in Districts 5 and 6, week in, week out in the state of Idaho. My name is Brandon Baney, joined as always by our East Idaho expert, Sean Kane. Sean, what's going on?
Just enjoying the heat wave, I guess. It's hot out there.
I had one football coach tell me it's hotter than the surface of the sun outside. I'm not sure it's that hot, but not too far off. Speaking of teams that are hot, we're going to talk, of course, high school football on this week's edition of the East Idaho Prepcast, but we wanted to bring on a guest because this has been a program that has been on the rise and has been pretty hot over the last couple of years since this guy took over as head coach. Let's go ahead and welcome in head coach of the Bonneville Bees football program, Kevin Kempf. Coach Kemp, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks, Brandon. Thanks, Sean. Love being on the show.
So tell us a little bit about how you got the job at Bonneville and what you've done in a pretty short amount of time to really turn around a program that had been down a little bit.
Well, I started as a linebacker coach and then did that for a little bit and then became the defensive coordinator. And then when Coach Virgil decided to move on, it provided an opportunity for me to put in for the head coaching job. And I was blessed to be chosen, and I say it all the time, but it's really the favorite part of my day. I love being around those kids and love being part of a culture change there at Bonneville. And just slowly but surely, we're just trying to get better every day.
There seems to be an excitement and a buzz, pardon the pun, but a buzz around this Bonneville program. You've done a really nice job of engaging the fan base, engaging the parents, and creating an excitement around these young student athletes at Bonneville as well. Can you hear me, Coach?
Yeah. It just broke up a little bit at the end. Okay. But I think I heard most of your question. The program was ripe for it. The program, our fan base, our parents, our school, our administrators, they're ready for it. They're ready for a change. They want to see some wins on Friday nights, and we've got the right kids, we've got the right coaches. This year is an exciting season for us. We just came off a pretty big win Friday against Century High School, and we face Rigby this upcoming Friday. And we're friends with Armando Gonzalez and his coaching staff up there. And I'll say it today, I'll say it then. But if you give me an option of playing the best team in Idaho or the worst team in Idaho, I'll choose the best team in Idaho every single time. That's how you get better as a football team, is playing the best.
Yeah, I know Armando Gonzalez is another coach that's brought in a lot of excitement to his program. He's energetic, excitable. You had a nice win over Century last Friday night. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, Coach Kemp, but Sean actually teaches and coaches at Century High School. So,
yeah, he kind of took us down there a little bit, but yeah, it was an exciting game, and looks like on Friday. Not only was it an exciting game, you guys did a great job in honoring the former coach Friday night as well, too, right?
Yeah, thank you, Sean and Brandon. I'll tell you, what's interesting is when we look back on that game in 5 or 10 or 15 years, our kids won't remember that win. They won't. What they'll remember is coming together at the middle of the field before the game, shaking hands with Century football team, the class acts that Century High School was and is, and just the overall feelings of together in a game like that, honoring the Lampard family. I mean, that's the good stuff. I mean, that's what high school football is all about. And so, yeah, it was a great tribute to Bryan, great tribute to his family. And, the fact that we came out of there with a win certainly, is a really, really great thing for us.
Yeah, take us back to that day last winter when you heard the awful news about Coach Bryan Lampard and what had happened to him.
Yeah, I missed maybe the first part of that question, but were you asking about Coach Lampard?
Yes, and yeah, take us back to that day this past winter when you found out the awful news.
Yeah, so Coach Lampard and I played football together back in the day in college, and he and I have been best friends for many years. And Bryan's been a New Orleans police officer for over 25 years, and so when he had an injury down there as a police officer, and had the opportunity to come up and coach football with us over the past 2 years, and then ultimately retire from New Orleans police department. So he helped us coach quarterbacks and defense, and Bryan was one of the smartest football players and coaches that I know. And but tragically in February, Bryan took his own life. And as frankly as too many police officers do these days. I mean, they're just going through so much. There's so much PTSD, I think, that's going on with those that serve either in our military or our police ranks. And so anytime that we can show love towards and support towards the men and women in blue that wear a uniform, we're never going to miss an opportunity to do that. And so Bryan will never be forgotten. He'll be a Bonneville Bee for the rest of the existence of Bonneville High School.
So you had a special tribute to Bryan on Friday night. You had special uniforms that were made. Tell us how that came about.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Rockwell Homes, they're one of the leading home builders, of course, in Idaho Falls. They're just amazing. They're amazing in what they do. And, literally out of the blue, we get a call from them and said that they would like to donate $20,000 in Bryan's name and purchase our kids' new uniforms. And so those Nike uniforms that we purchased because of Rockwell Homes, I mean, they are amazing. I've been around football for a long time, 40 plus years. And I can't remember having uniforms like that. I mean, the quality, the look, the style, hats off to our administrators, our principal, Levi Owen, and our athletic director, Tyler Johnson, who approved having black uniforms with gold and white. And our kids love them, our fans love them. And again, probably wouldn't have happened without Rockwell Homes and how that thoughtful gesture on their part. It's pretty amazing.
So it was different colors, and then was there a patch, or was there something commemorating Coach Lampard as well?
Yeah. Before the game on Friday, we had all of the Lampard family out, and we created these little helmet stickers that are in a New Orleans Saint like logo, and we put BL, of course, Bryan's initials inside of them. So we did a little helmet ceremony, and our captain of the team, Jacob Perez, who had a very close relationship with Bryan, spoke, and then all of our kids put that sticker on. And so again, just one more way for us to remember Bryan, Coach Lampard, and Bryan's this tough, hardcore, blue collar guy, and that's the kind of football team we're trying to develop here at Bonneville. So it fit perfectly.
Yeah, as Sean and I were talking about, what we were going to talk about on the Prepcast today with you, he brought up something that I hadn't even noticed, and that was late in the game, you had a player score a defensive touchdown, right, Sean? And then what happened?
And then it's your guys' culture now that if you score a touchdown, you get to give the football out, right? And I just thought that was a great story, and he runs back a 60-yard touchdown. In fact, I just saw the highlight of it, which he just rips it out kind of standing. What a great play by Jack. Help me with the last name. Romander. Yeah, just they're in a pile. He grabs it out, runs it back 60 yards. And what a great play for a defensive player. I love those. But really the cool thing is he got to take that new ball and give it to Bryan's family up in the stands, right? And I just think that's just amazing, and just what a cool thing. And I know the Century fans too were just thought that was great and just totally backed and cheered that too, even though the play happened. But what a great moment for the family and the team, and those things, man, that's what they'll remember, like you said, for sure.
Yeah, totally. Something that we started last year. We have a big bag of brand new footballs on the sideline. If you score a touchdown, we give it to you. You can take it up to your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, a friend. Unfortunately, last year we didn't give away too many footballs because we didn't score many points. But what made that extra special, Sean and Brandon, was the Romander family. First off, Bobby Romander is our assistant head coach and defense coordinator, and that's his son, Jack Romander. And the Romanders were very, very close with Bryan Lampard. Like they had a very, very special relationship with him and their family. So it just made it even that much more sweet for Jack to do what he did. And again, you said it best, Sean. Those are the types of things that'll be remembered forever. Not what the score was, not who won or lost, but those feelings that you have, and demonstrations of being a classy program like Bonneville is, like Century is. That's the stuff that matters. I mean, at the end of the day, we're developing young men. We want them to be great fathers and husbands and coworkers, and so yeah, it was a pretty special moment.
So this was a great tribute for Coach Lampard, and he had family from all over at the game. So now what do you do moving forward? Does this become a yearly thing where you're still raising awareness for, suicide prevention and those types of things?
Yeah, I mean, we're doing it not only as a team, but my wife Heather, our family has been just hit in very, very tragic ways. My wife Heather has lost 2 little brothers to suicide, and it's just horrific. And so any chance we can get, either on the field, off the field, where we can point awareness to suicide, and point people to resources to avoid those tragic events, of course, we're going to do it. As a football program, as it relates to Coach Lampard, at the end of this year at our annual awards banquet, with his mom's help, Mrs. Lampard, we're going to be giving out a team award to a player that demonstrates the best team player award. Someone that just doesn't mind taking a back seat if they need to take a back seat, but all in the interest of being a team player. We have shirts that were made that have a big giant team, and then underneath it says me, to simulate big team, little me, and all in the interest of what Coach Lampard was all about. And so, yep, I hope it goes into our culture of a team, and it helps us be a better football team.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your team. Anthem Dalkey has played really well to start off the year. I know you've got a bunch of speedy backs and receivers, but who's really stood out as leaders of this team so far?
Yeah, you mentioned him. Anthem Dalkey, rushed for 161 yards on Friday night, 16 carries. When we went down and played Logan High School, first time he touched the ball, he ran it for a touchdown for a punt return, but sadly, we made a mistake, and blocked someone in the back. It was a legit call from a ref, and it brought the punt back. And that Logan High School game, even though we lost, we probably learned more from that loss than we would have if we would have beat them by 3 touchdowns. Because we came back and spent hours upon hours upon hours of diagnosing that game, where we first as coaches can get better, where we can improve as players, and so that loss will turn out to be a blessing for us in the future. Really, Brandon, we've broken up this season into 3 segments, and our players have heard this 100 times from me. First segment is preseason: Logan High School, Century High School, Rigby High School. Do we want to win those games? Absolutely. But I'm telling you, in the locker room after each game, I'm just simply asking the question: did we get better? And if we got better, then that's a success. The second segment, of course, is conference, and that's the tournament. And that first conference game is Idaho Falls coming to town next Friday, and we had better play better than we have the first 3 games. And Idaho Falls, and then Shelley, Thunder, and then Hillcrest. And you probably know how I feel about Hillcrest, but if you don't, I'll be happy to explain it to you. And then we finish the season with Blackfoot Skyline, then Blackfoot. So we have got to win a bunch of conference games and get a good seed in the playoffs. And of course, the third segment is just that, our playoffs, and what we do in the playoffs and how we play, how we represent Bonneville. So last preseason game is this Friday against Rigby. We'd better be able to answer the question, if we got better. And then it's tournament time, baby. Idaho Falls is coming to town, and we're going to be ready.
Go ahead, Sean.
Oh yeah, I was like I've said earlier on the cast. I think the 4A, your guys' conference, is maybe one of the toughest football conferences in the whole state, 5A or 4A or 3A, whatever. Because every team, I think, on your schedule it's just gonna be a battle, and the championship team has come out of that conference a few years in a row, and I mean, like you said, if you want to play the best, you're in one of the best conferences, and you're gonna have to compete super hard, just to make the playoffs. So like I said, it's a tough conference.
Oh man, it is. It's a bruising conference. And, as head coaches, we're all pretty much friends. I mean, we talk all the time. I talk to Marty Duffin and Mossholder and Wells. I talk to Berger, talk to those guys all the time. And we know what we're up against. And without question, I mean, this is a bruising conference every single week. But at the same time, again, if you're a competitive person, I mean, this is what you want. You want the best. I want to play the best. And even though we're going to get our butts kicked sometimes, and it's good for us. It's good for our character. It's good for adversity. It's good for building young men. So, I mean, I love it. I freaking love it. This Friday night going up against Rigby, I mean, on film, they're the best team that I've seen on film in a long time. Oh my heavens. They are big, strong, and fast. And of course, I think they're coached by one of the best head coaches in Idaho, Armando. But I'm telling you, I wouldn't want it any other way. I want to get our backs to the wall. I want to go up there, and I want to give Armando and that team every single thing we've got, and see what happens.
Well, that's one thing I learned about your team. I was on the call for your first playoff game last year against Pocatello, and it was a similar thing. You took what was a really explosive Thunder offense and buttoned it down and really held them in check for the most part until late in the second half. And so I know your team always comes out and competes. It's been really fun to watch the development of this program as you've taken it over and guided it. And I know it's not solely you, right? You've got a lot of great assistant coaches, and it's parents and players, right? It's a village effort. Yeah.
Yep. It is, Brandon. Thanks for saying that. And Sean, I'm telling you, I'm not just saying this. I mean, I could recount your past several shows. I watch your show every single week, and I appreciate the things that you say about Bonneville, because I appreciate you're always mentioning the energy right now around the program, and that stuff's not lost on us. And I appreciate you noticing those things, and we just got to come out and get after it, and just play our best football, see what happens.
Definitely. All right. Well, Kevin Kempf, head coach of the Bonneville Bees, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck this Friday night against Rigby. I say that to every team that goes in to play Rigby this year. They're good. Yeah. I got to see them play Coeur d'Alene in the first game, and they are legit, no doubt about it. So it'll be a fun game, though.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate all you do for high school sports. Really.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, Coach.
Thanks, you guys.
We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye. All right, Sean, there you go. Head coach Kevin Kempf of the Bonneville Bees. Before we duck out and conclude the Prepcast, we did want to touch on a couple of other topics, Sean. Westside, again, 34 wins in a row. This time they beat a Layton Christian team from Utah that had put up like 30-plus points in each of their first several games, and they shut them out. I mean, death taxes in Westside football, right?
I mean, yeah, we were keeping up to date with that score, but like Westside is always the defense, they just don't allow any points, and it's kind of hard to win if you don't score. I mean, you're just not gonna come away with it. So yeah, definitely Westside is the team we thought they were. You gotta do your taxes and play Westside.
Yeah, it's crazy to see what they do week in, week out. On the football schedule this week, we've got a lot of exciting matchups for East Idaho game night, as well as Gate City game night on East Idaho game night on IdahoSports.com. We've got Madison taking on Idaho Falls at Ravston Stadium. That used to be a conference game, not anymore. Idaho Falls 4A now, Madison 5A. Idaho Falls looking for their first win of the year, which, again, I think they're a pretty good team. They've just gotten off to a tough start.
Yeah, they've had a couple kind of tough games, and that with Thunder Ridge, and that I think that'll be a test. Madison's coming off a loss to Blackfoot, so it's kind of I think a big game for both programs. Kind of just get back right in the right direction.
Definitely. We've got as well the Salmon Savages on IdahoSports.com this Friday night. They're traveling all the way over to Cary to play Coal Valley Christian in a neutral site game. What do you think of this, Sean? Salmon playing Coal Valley, and they're meeting kind of in the middle in Cary.
And I think Coal Valley Christian is a team willing to travel. They came down to Westside last year too. And what I remember about Coal Valley Christian is where they didn't have a lot of kids. Every kid was gigantic. That was one of the biggest teams I remember seeing all year, just period. That every kid was, I don't know, 6'3" and ate a lot of hamburgers. So I like that they go and travel, and that should be just kind of an interesting, you see there's a few more just kind of interesting non-conference matchups with people willing to travel. So it should be a fun one for sure.
Definitely. And Salmon will be the home team in that matchup. So it is an East Idaho game night on IdahoSports.com, even though it's in Cary, which is in the Magic Valley. Also, Shelley will be at Burley for a Magic Valley game night matchup, but Shelley is from East Idaho. The Russets, they're kind of off to a tougher start than I thought. 0-2 and kind of got run over by Sugar Salem in their annual rivalry game last week.
Yeah, a game that's been close several years, and they both teams take that game very seriously. And I think Sugar Salem is just really good this year. I think they're going to beat a lot of teams maybe by that score. And last week we got to see Burley, so we know Burley can score points in a hurry. So this should be a kind of an interesting non-conference game. Can Shelley's defense kind of slow down that Burley fast-paced offense?
Yep, for sure. And then we've got a pair of Gate City Game Night broadcasts on SAP for you. First time this year, we're bringing you Gate City Game Night, just the Pocatello schools. It's presented by Lookout Credit Union. First up is Highland at Century. Both of these teams are 0-2, so somebody getting their first win of the year, it might be a tall order for Century. I mean, Highland just barely lost to Skyline last week.
Yeah, Highland, it's their first 0-2 start since 2016, and Century's just a really kind of fresh new team coming out. I think it'll be pretty difficult for them to come away with a win, but like everyone gets excited and really wants to play the game, so it should be fun under the lights out at Century. Which, if you ever get a chance to go watch a game out there, it's pretty nice with the mountains and the sunset, so that should be fun.
Good scenic backdrop for sure. And then the game will be on the call for Sean. You and I, we will be at the debut of Lookout Field, the brand new facilities for Pocatello High School, as the Thunder host Twin Falls in a non-conference game on Gate City Game Night as well. I'm very excited to see this beautiful new facility.
Yeah, I've driven by a little bit, but I'm excited to get out there and look at it, and just a lot of buzz, to finally have their own Pocatello, to have their own field. I went to Pocatello High School and always had to go up to the mini dome. And I mean, we won't get into that conversation, but I mean, for the kids to have, their own field, man, that's just going to be great. What a great thing for the program. And they in Pocatello got rolling last week. So I think they're ready for, which has got to be a pretty strong Twin Falls team, as they were able to kind of beat Valley View, and we got to see Valley View, which I thought was a good team as well. So, and Twin Falls is 2-0 and Pocatello is 1-1. I think this is going to be a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure. And let's wrap up with just a quick highlight of what went on in the other sports. We previewed the Peg Peterson Memorial Tournament last week that Highland hosts every year, one of the premier regular season volleyball tournaments. And Highland, the host school, gets the win, Sean. How exciting.
Yeah, great. They won the gold bracket. That's really good. They're, with all the tough teams there. I mean, that's a great way to start your season for Highland for sure. And Middleton out of Boise won the silver, and also East Idaho, Preston takes home the bronze bracket. So East Idaho kind of almost sweeping there.
Yeah, Highland had to beat Kimberly twice in a row. They had to beat them back-to-back to get the win, but they did. So that was really impressive from Highland as the Rams continue their great start to the season. Sean, you've also been paying attention to what's going on the links. You're a big golf fan. What's going on there?
I've been trying to. Some of the golfers are kind of razzing me. We don't get any shout outs, but Lorna Son from Century High School, the last 2 weeks has won the Burley Invitational. She took first in the girls bracket and she took second in the Minico Invitational. So two really strong finishes from Lauren, who finished third last year at state. And Minico won 4A golf last year, and she took second in their tournament and won the Burley one. So some nice job from Lauren out there playing that golf sport.
That's right. Twin Falls rolled to the team title in the girls competition at that Minico invite. I do know that.
Oh yeah.
Like most girls sports, Twin Falls pretty good. So
yeah, I mean, well, that's what they took the second as kind of a bigger deal because Twin Falls was at that Minico one, and to end up in second place against a very strong Twin Falls girls golf program forever. It's just a great feat for her. So that was pretty neat to see.
Definitely. We also were on coverage of cross country this past weekend, Sean. We talked about that, the Cardinal Classic from Soda Springs. In terms of what happened there, it was a great day. It was, we thought it was going to be unbearably hot for the two races, but it actually wasn't bad. The weather stayed nice, mostly because the wind was blowing. The girls' competition was up first. The Preston girls ran away with the title. They had 7 in the top. What was it? They had 5 in the top 20, 7 in the top 50. That's crazy.
That's
right?
a lock. That locks it up quickly without how that works. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at the official team scores, Preston ends up winning with 46 points or something crazy. It was really insane. Neela Roberts ends up winning the individual title, the fantastic junior dynamo from Skyline. She ran a time of 19:27.71, shaved a minute off her season debut time, and won by more than 30 seconds over second place Courtney Earl of Thunder Ridge. And then on the boys' side, it was the out-of-state schools that did really well. In fact, the top 4 spots all went to out-of-state competitors. The highest finish by an East Idaho boy was Caden Gentry from the host Soda Springs. He took 7th overall at the Cardinal Classic. So good competition all around. And of course, Neela Roberts from Skyline, we mentioned, the individual champ. She wins pretty much every competition she's in. We will be broadcasting cross country again this Friday, Sean. I'll be up in Idaho Falls during the day at Freeman Park for Tiger Grizz. So how exciting is that?
Yeah, that's the premier kind of cross country event in East Idaho, year in, year out. And a lot of, you win Tiger Grizz, your chances of winning state is very high. So what a great event. You guys were there last year for the first time, I believe. So
yes,
you are aware of how it works. And I'm sure you and is anyone else helping you?
It's going to be me and Logan Green on the call.
You guys will do a great job doing that. And then you're going to have to hurry and come do some football with me. But
yeah, we're going to branch off to our respective games. Logan's going to go to Ravston Stadium for that Idaho Falls Madison matchup, and I'll be headed to Lookout Field in Pocatello. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to broadcast Tiger Grizz. So Neela Roberts, the favorite there. She wins pretty much every race she competes in, and she was our first big deal of the week. We're bringing this back on IdahoSports.com. It just dropped today, actually, where it's sponsored by Project Filter, and we basically highlight a different athlete around the state each and every week, and we do a little Q&A with them. And so we caught up with Neela after the race on Saturday, and she was our first big deal of the year, and well-deserved. So you'll have to check that out at IdahoSports.com as well. And then I wanted to also mention before we duck out of here, Sean, in girls soccer last week, we've talked a lot about Highland and Skyline and Pocatello and the bigger schools, but we haven't really talked much 3A soccer. And of course, we know Sugar Salem's always really good, and Marsh Valley, and, American Falls quietly having a really strong year as well. And this kind of flew under the radar. And so I wanted to shed some light on it because this is kind of a big accomplishment. But last week, American Falls picked up a 6-1 win over Marsh Valley, which, first of all, okay, message sent. Beavers might be the new team to beat in East Idaho in 3A. But in the process, Kaylee Hunt scored 4 goals in the game, which is pretty impressive. But those 4 goals also pushed her over the 100 goal mark for her career, which is outstanding.
Yeah, that's just outstanding. And I don't know if you were in Idaho then a few years ago, a great player came out of American Falls, Maria Sanchez. She played at ISU, then went to another college, but she still plays on the Mexico national team. So American Falls has some soccer brewing in there for sure.
Yeah, so congratulations to Kaylee Hunt, who crosses the 100 career goal mark. That was reported by the Idaho State Journal. So, wow, that's so cool. What an accomplishment!
Yeah, absolutely. Also, she gets a signed ball or something, right? To put in the trophy case, because that's not very many people are going to do that.
That's very tough to do in a high school career. So congratulations there. So yeah, basically lots of exciting stuff going on this week. We didn't get to dive into as many of the matchups as we wanted to, but we, wanted to bring on Kevin Kempf, the head football coach at Bonneville. What a great topic. And what a great story and a great team. He's really got something brewing up there at Bonneville.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like the bee's knees or something. But yeah, I think he was, one of his first games was the first game we broadcast together against Century a few years ago. I think that might have been one of his first games he ever coached. So kind of funny that we were all back together doing this, and he's doing a lot better than me and you, but we're gonna give it our best shot. But
we're still trying to improve every day, just like those Bonneville bees. But
absolutely.
Yeah, you're right. I kind of forgot about that. We all kind of started together, which is funny to think about. But he brought up a great topic of suicide prevention and suicide prevention awareness. If you are out there and you're struggling, I know there are lots of veterans that struggle and feel like they have nobody to talk to. Congress just made the National Suicide Hotline number a lot easier to remember. It used to be 9 digits and it was really hard. It's 988. That's the number now. Congress passed it. If you dial 988, it's going to put you in touch with somebody on the suicide prevention hotline that can help you talk through whatever it is you're going through. And before you make that choice, reach out, because there is somebody that can help you and somebody that can listen. So again, 988 is that suicide prevention hotline number. Very important topic.
Absolutely. And like Coach Kemp said, it's about relationships, and that's what's so important, having all the coaches, in Idaho, having those relationships with the players and stuff. And always remember there's someone that cares about you out there. And I know, as being a coach, anyone called me, I'd be there to help them at any minute. So you just remember those relationships. There's always someone that's willing to help you out or talk to you or to use that number. But yeah, just remember there is always someone there for you.
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to another edition of the East Idaho Prepcast. Enjoy all of the games going on. We have such a slew of games every week in East Idaho, football games that you can watch totally free on IdahoSports.com. Doesn't cost you anything. All the content we produce is free. I do the weekly rewind where I recap as much stuff as I can. We do the Prepcasts, the game streams. It's a lot of stuff, and we don't ask you anything for it. It's all free. But if you're a business out there, we rely on our advertisers and our business partners to help fund what we do, and that's promote high school athletes in the state of Idaho. If you are a business out there and you want to help us out, because we definitely need the help, right? And I understand the economy's in a bad place and we're post-COVID and all this stuff. We're hurting just like every other business, and we're trying to keep the ball rolling and keep as much stuff going to you as we can. But if you want to help out in any way, no amount is too small. Just send an email to Logan at IdahoSports.com. That's our sales manager, Logan at IdahoSports.com, and every little bit helps. So, all right, I'll get off the soapbox now, and I'll tell.
I mean, if you want to sponsor us like Nike or something, that's fine. We'd take it.
Yes, we're always looking for sponsors on the Prepcast as well. Yeah. So
East Idaho business, people love tuning into us.
We're kind of a big deal. No,
yeah.
we're not going to go there. Yes. So anyways, enjoy the competition this week. We'll see you back here next week for another edition of the East Idaho Prepcast. For Sean Kane, I'm Brandon Baney. Thanks for tuning in on Idaho Sports.